So, cell phones off?
Cell phones are off. Mine's just here for the land use statement. Yeah, we're gonna do the land acknowledgement.
Stage management ready.
Okay.
Stage management ready.
I'm sorry, I thought you said nothing. Okay, hang on, I just want to take, I need the interview ready to go.
Right.
Are you trying to verify your mind?
Actually, yeah, because I'm not getting the right.
Isn't it wild that it takes so long?
When you say ready, that means you're ready to go. I know, today's the hardest day, after this they'll be ready. You said you need
Oh, that's gonna hurt his knees. We need a cushion. Yeah. That makes my knees hurt just watching you do that. All right.
Is everyone ready?
Sorry, we just have to, you want to find it?
Do you want to be up in stage direction or down here?
I want to be up in
So you need to go over there and not touch the soundboard. Thank you.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Well, decide which camera to go with.
Sometimes the director just focus or the cameras that can be controlled from up there.
We're actually live, guys.
That's fine.
So, I think we will just go live.
Okay, I just want to come here as a cameo. My name is Matthew.
We're now live, everyone quiet. Talent, you can take it away. Why don't you introduce what you are? I won't bother you with your introduction here.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So this is our first afternoon of the TV production camp, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. My name is Karen Loffer, and I am with Resurrection Lutheran Church. I have been a staff member with the camp for, gosh, this is our fourth year, so all 4 years that we've been doing this. And I'm really excited because we have a great bunch of students who will become staff on Friday night when we go to our live production. It'll be very exciting. I'm also really excited because we have some campers who came back for the second time who are helping mentor the other people. So that's really exciting. So today our production or our show is going to be something up close and personal. And with that, I'd like to introduce Karen Perkins to take it from there.
Hi, I'm Karen Perkins, and I too am really glad to have returning campers and to be part of this. So I just want to say that we appreciate those of you who are watching, and we appreciate all of the participants. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we're on. Resurrection Lutheran Church exists on the unceded territory of the Aquan and the Tlingit Ani, also known today as Juneau, Alaska. We acknowledge that the Tlingit people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we are grateful for their enduring care and wisdom. We commit to serving these communities and to treating this land with justice and respect. We recognize a series of unjust actions, including forced relocations and the burning of villages that sought to remove the Tlingit people from their ancestral lands. We honor the deep relationships between the Tlingit people and their land, language, ancestors, and future generations. We aspire to work toward healing and liberation, recognizing that our paths are intertwined in the complex histories of colonization in Alaska. We acknowledge that we arrived here by listening to the stories, wisdom, and resilience of elders, and communities that came before us, so that these stories carry us as we work together to weave a healthier world for future generations. Good old sheesh.
So, as we were talking earlier, we were going to get, kind of up close and personal between the Karens. So this isn't like between two ferns, this is like between the two Karens.
Yes.
So we are going to play, one of the best, probably one of the most fun parlor games you could have.
I love it, yes.
Yes. Would you rather?
Okay.
All right?
Are you going to start?
I will start. So my question is, and we can get very superficial, or you can go as long as you want to get down to you. Would you rather have $1 billion or your health?
My health. I honestly believe that while there are things that are fun about having a lot of money, there are also responsibilities that come with having a lot of money, and trying to figure out how to be equitable and kind and just with all those resources, I think would be challenging, and then just also feeling like, why am I hoarding these resources that are so necessary in the world? I also think that, all of us want more. And when it comes to money, or feel like we could use more or need more. And so no matter where we are economically, and I'm not in a great place right now economically, I'm lucky people are helping, but no matter where we are, it's like, gosh, I could really use this much more, or this next level of income. And always striving to have more means that it's never enough. And I really, my picture of joy and my picture of peace is to be enough, and enough to be enough, to have enough, to live enough. And I don't get me wrong, I'm greedy in other ways, but I just think that the money is really dangerous because it's a tool, but it's a tool that is so easily addictive, and I think it would just scare me. And then if I don't have my health, then everything would be harder, less, and depending on how bad my health gets, whatever. I think it'd be hard to appreciate wherever I was financially, because how do you appreciate your life when you're struggling with a health condition or multiple health conditions? And I know that there are people for whom that it takes over their lives, and it can take over the lives of their loved ones. And I just don't, I grieve for them, I pray for them, and it seems to me that regardless of the amount of money, that would be a really challenging and unsatisfying way to live, especially if I knew I had a choice. If I made that choice, if it was like, oh yeah, I know I made this choice, I think I'd feel
well. That's why I ask about $1 billion, because it used to be if you had $1 million in your health. Well, the reality is, in one illness
Can cost
could
$1 million.
wipe out $1 million
Yep.
easy, you know, one hospitalization and that type of
Right.
thing. So that's why I've upped it with the inflation. I've upped it to $1 billion because
Right.
then you really got to think about that kind of money versus health.
Right.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, a lot, but quite frankly, a lot of homes, you know, the mid-range of homes in Juneau is near the $500,000 mark, right?
Yeah.
And because things like housing and food have turned into luxuries in our world, you know, having this wild amount of money, it would be fun to do some luxurious things, but then there's also this, you know,
Well, the one thing that I think about is think about it when you're sick. You just want to be in your bed. I mean, you just want to lay in your bed.
Yeah.
Well, it really doesn't matter if you're laying in your bed in a 2-bedroom apartment or in a mansion. You know, I've got my cats, and I'm just sick in bed. And so if I had illness, it doesn't matter where the bed is
yeah.
because I just want to be in bed and be sick.
And I have to admit, I do completely admire people who, because we get the cruises in here, sometimes, you know, friends and family come on cruises, and people who are ill and use the time that they have to do something that they really want to do, including travel, which we know is challenging or can be challenging. It's not always challenging, but can be challenging. And so there are people who really push themselves, even if they're ill, to go ahead and travel and get out and spend time with
Right.
people. I completely respect that, but
Yeah.
would you have made the same choice? Health?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because like I said, if I'm ill, I'm going to be in a bed, and $1 million or $1 billion isn't going to help me, you know, with that. So, I mean, that's what I would do.
Well, my
So
first,
now your question.
my
what's-
first question is actually not completely unrelated.
Ah,
Would you rather spend the rest of your life never leaving Juneau,
oh,
or have to relocate every 6 months? Relocate to a different city.
wow, wow. That's a tough one. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't even leave Juneau for like a vacation or
Nope.
no, I have to
The rest
stay
of your
here
life in Juneau, yeah.
for the rest of my life. Oh, I would have to relocate every 6 months.
Okay.
And that would break my heart.
Tell us why.
Well, one, if I couldn't leave Juneau, then that means I couldn't go visit family.
Yeah.
And the idea or the thought of not visiting family and friends would be devastating.
Oh.
And then secondly, just the simple fact that they wouldn't come to Juneau.
Right.
I mean, they, you know, especially like my mother, she's never going to get on a plane again, and so I would not be able to see her. So I would have to relocate. But then the thought of relocating every 6 months, yes. I mean, I can live in a suitcase because I do.
Because you do, yeah.
I do. In between Illinois and Juneau and Oregon and Miami and all that stuff. I mean,
Panama.
yeah, Panama. I do live in a suitcase, so that's not a hard problem. But I have 2 cats. And I would have to have this caveat whereby I could relocate every 6 months and I could be with my cats.
Okay.
That's my caveat.
That's your
'Cause
caveat,
yeah.
Is that the only thing that made it a hard question?
Well, I love Juneau. I mean, there's no question about it. I love Juneau, and I'm really involved with Juneau.
Yes.
But you know what? Even when I'm in Illinois or Panama or, well, I went to a council meeting when I was in Budapest, you know, Hungary, and so.
So with technology these
Technology.
days, you can make connections around the world and maintain relationships, as long as you're comfortable with the technology, but maintain relationships with people around the world.
But
technologically.
But that would be a tough one, but I can't not have family and friends
Yeah.
and be able to see them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so then one of the questions that we had talked about,
Uh-huh.
and so you kind of had a little bit of time to think about it, was would you rather live in outer space or under the sea?
Yes. And so this one, the caveat would be, if I were living in outer space, would it be alone, just floating? Because floating in outer space might be fun for, other than the freezing thing, might be fun for a few minutes, half hour maybe, but being alone and floating for the rest of my life sounds miserable. I'm assuming though I'm living in outer space with other people, so whether it's on a spaceship or some other conglomerate living situation, and I think that would be hard because of the not being able to go outside, and there's nowhere else in the universe that we're aware of right now that a human can survive outside and just exposed to the elements. So I would have a tough time with that. But I'm so fascinated by the potential adventure. And while my brain knows that practically space is so spacious that actually encountering, it's not like Star Trek and I'm going to encounter another population every week, but I'm just going to imagine that we could go different places, and I love the sense of discovery. I would have, it would be tough, but then, as you mentioned when we were talking about it under the sea, we know that it's heavily populated under the sea. There's this whole world under the sea, and you can have pets, or be a pet, or have relationships with other animals. I also, dancing underwater is really fun.
Yeah.
So I might lean towards outer space, but it would be a toughie, and so I would talk to Brad, and I would go with him in whichever choice he made. That's my caveat. It's like, well, let's go with what Brad made, and I'm taking Corbin in outer space. So if there are no dogs in outer space, well, I guess there are no dogs under the sea either.
Well, so that kind of brings us back to that question that you asked me.
Uh-huh.
And then knowing your background, stay in Juneau or relocate every 6 months?
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. I know your background.
Yes, and so and I have relocated a number of times, and
No, you have to go a little further. You've relocated to some very
far
far-flung.
mostly Pacific Rim.
Well,
So Ring of
yeah.
Fire. So having lived San Francisco Bay Area and around the whole Bay Area, and then Hawaii, and then Bangkok, and California, and then here in Juneau, it's been an adventure, and I really do appreciate the adventure. I appreciate the opportunity to learn. You showed me a video of a bear that was getting into trash, and somebody was filming the bear and her 3 cubs from across the street, fortunately behind her fence. And she was just videotaping them, and for whatever reason, the mama bear looked up and started to charge this lady who was filming them, and so she ran, and then you could see the bear up against the fence. Standing up against the fence it's terrifying, but it's also, in the world that I come from, you don't have bears hanging out in your neighborhood. You don't have to put out your trash a half an hour before it gets picked up because it's bear season, and you don't have to worry about being charged or in some other way known.
Yeah.
It's things like that you get to learn when you relocate. at the same time, it takes a long time to form relationships. And while you can maintain relationships with people at a distance, which I would enjoy doing, I miss people. I mean, I love people when I'm in a community. And so kind of letting go of the everyday with those people is hard. I still would choose relocating every 6 months. But there are challenges to the whole thing.
So, one last question,
Okay.
and we can both answer it.
Okay.
And would you rather lose the ability to speak or the ability to see?
Oof. Wow. Okay, you go first.
Okay. Mine would be C, because, I mean, you and I are so much alike. To not be able to speak
Yeah.
would be really hard for me. Now, granted, there is sign language, and, you know that my roommate is very good with sign language. So there is that. But to not be able to talk when I've talked for so long and have to go to sign, it's kind of hard. I'm kind of like set in my ways. And the reality is, and to be able to see, if you have that ability and you've seen in the past and you lose that ability to see, you can still kind of get pictures in your head.
Okay.
That would be mine.
So this is gonna surprise probably everybody, but it'll fit with the whole wrap it up signal that we just got. And I actually think I would lose the ability to speak. And for me, it has to do with, I love color, and I love just visual combinations of light, and the beauty is so fun for me. And so many of the recreational activities, hobbies that I do involve playing with color.
Yeah.
And so that would be hard. And I think that, like I said, it'll shock people, but I think that I would be able to get along without speaking.
That makes perfect sense. Now that, because I'm not the artistic person and you are, so that makes sense. And I'm the
So we learned a lot about each other.
We learned a lot about each other,
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope that you enjoyed this, getting to know between two
The Karens.
between two Karens and
Yes.
not between two ferns. So thank you, everybody, for all the campers. We'll see you tomorrow morning, and it'll be another day. And good night, everybody.
Peace.